Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, August 20th. This is Gina Palma. Over the next couple of days, we will have a cold front moving through the region. So in the meantime, we will continue to see above normal and hot temperatures today across the Great Basin. However, very little other weather impacts aside from low relative humidity. As the front approaches on Wednesday, we will see winds increase late in the day on Wednesday and Wednesday evening over northwest Nevada and into Idaho. And then as the front pushes through, overnight on Wednesday and on Thursday, we could see some isolated thunderstorms up across mainly central Idaho, again during the overnight period, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. These thunderstorms would be on the drier side, but should be fairly isolated. Looking at the last 24 hours, we haven't seen any precipitation across the Great Basin and no lightning. In fact, we haven't seen any precipitation across the Great Basin over the last week. Great Basin fire activity was light across the region yesterday. Again, we haven't seen any precipitation over the last week. However, over the last 2 weeks, we've seen light amounts of precipitation tied to thunderstorm activity, mainly in the higher terrain of Utah and over parts of Idaho and Nevada. However, this precipitation has generally been below normal, with the exception of some of the heavier precipitation with the thunderstorms we did see over parts of southwest Idaho into northeast Nevada. Fuels have been rebounding fairly quickly, and ERCs have been increasing across the region and are now above the 80th percentile over much of Utah into southern and eastern Nevada, and are above the 70th to 75th percentile over much of Idaho into northern Nevada. Looking at some of our ERC charts, these ERCs are well above normal and near record highs over parts of Utah and into southern Nevada. This is largely due to the delayed monsoon we did see this year, and once the monsoon started, it was fairly brief and weak. Therefore, we have not seen much moisture over as much as we would normally see by this point across Utah or the southern areas of the Great Basin. Further north, ERCs are increasing, but are approaching normal over much of Idaho. Looking at some of our live fuel moistures, they have been trending down and are near to below normal across the region for sagebrush. 10-hour fuel moistures have also been quite low, especially across southern and central areas of the Great Basin, however, are below the 3 to 4 percentile range over the entire area. Looking at our satellite image from this morning, high pressure dominating the eastern half of the Great Basin, again continuing the hot temperatures and dry conditions across the area. You can see the area of low pressure off the west coast, and this will be approaching the area over the next couple of days, pushing that cold front through the northern half of the Great Basin. So again, looking at our weather pattern for later this afternoon, just hot and dry conditions are expected across the Great Basin, with generally light to moderate winds. Therefore, we don't have any high risk across the region, just low to moderate fire potential region-wide. Relative humidities will drop into the single digits to low teens across all of the area, and winds will generally be light to moderate. However, some of the more moderate winds across southwest Utah into the Arizona Strip will be gusting in the mid-20s. Looking at our weather pattern for Wednesday, you can see that trough of low pressure now moving into the Pacific Northwest with that cold front. Therefore, we will see winds increasing out ahead of that front late in the day on Wednesday out across southern Idaho into northwest Nevada. Otherwise, dry and warm conditions across the rest of the Great Basin. Again, no high risks are issued. Most of that gustier winds will occur during the evening hours or later in the day on Wednesday over northwest Nevada and southwest Idaho, and also relative humidity will slightly be coming up during that time. However, right now wind gusts look to be right around 30 miles per hour. Looking at the relative humidity during the day on Wednesday, very little change on Wednesday. You can see a slight increase in humidity over the central Idaho mountains as that front approaches. We may see a little bit more cloud cover, so temperatures might not get quite as warm in that region. And then you can see the winds increasing over Idaho into northwest Nevada late in the day on Wednesday. Again, most gusts will be right around 30 miles per hour with much of the stronger winds further west into Oregon. Looking at our weather pattern by Thursday, as that front does move through Wednesday night and Thursday, it may trigger some isolated thunderstorms over parts of central Idaho. We will be watching this as, again, fuels have been drying out and are approaching normal in those regions, so that would be an area of concern potentially for overnight Wednesday into Thursday morning. However, right now, most of the lightning activity will be fairly isolated with better chances further north and east. Therefore, we have no high risk, but again, we'll continue to monitor that lightning as we move towards Thursday. Again, relative humidity will be increasing and temperatures decreasing as that front moves through, so you will see relative humidity more significantly increasing across Idaho, where relative humidity will remain above 15%, And again, as that front moves through, we will see those prefrontal winds, but also we will see winds behind the front shifting more to the northwest across Idaho on Thursday. So we will watch that. If we do get any lightning, we would have some breezy winds, even though relative humidity will be increasing with cooler temperatures. No precipitation expected across the Great Basin. Again, anything we see across central Idaho will be isolated and on the drier side. Otherwise, dry conditions region-wide. As we move into Friday, we will continue with that westerly flow out across the northern areas of the Great Basin, so we could see some breezier winds continuing on Friday. Right now they look to be a little bit weaker than what we'll see on Thursday, and then still generally drier conditions with slightly cooler temperatures across northern areas of the basin. As we move into Saturday, we may see winds pick up a little bit, and we will be watching the area over northern Nevada into southern Idaho for the potential of high risk with gusty winds and low relative humidity. Again, otherwise dry conditions are expected across the rest of the Great Basin through the weekend. They continue on Sunday and also on Monday. Again, just warm and dry conditions expected. We're not really seeing any chances for precipitation beyond what we might see with the cold front during the middle of this week. So again, no precipitation expected over the next 7 days. And looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us into the very end of August into early September, looking at warm and dry conditions across the region. We will continue to watch areas over southern areas of the Great Basin. Right now it's looking like the next push of any moisture that might bring us some thunderstorm activity could potentially occur late in August into the early part of September. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.